meeting interesting people. Today, my guest, Victor Skowronski. Welcome to the show.
Oh,
Did I pronounce right?
Yes, thank you.
So, well, it's not the easy last name for pronunciation. So, I met Victor during my classes of English country dance. And yeah, I know that you studied dancing a long time ago because I know you even choreograph a few dances, I'd say, because I don't know the number. Maybe you will tell us.
In excess of 20 at this point, but actually
Whoa.
I am not really that, have been dancing that long compared to some people in the English country dance community. I think I started in the early 90s.
Okay.
So that would be, be about 20 years only.
So it's like each year you wrote create a new dance.
Well, no, I didn't start writing dances right away. And I've done more than one dance in any particular year. So it's,
The last
it's
one
hard
I know
to say.
you wrote for the wedding of Alex and Charles.
Yes.
Yeah. So we danced that dance. Yes, we did. So tell us why you chose the English country dance, because I know we have, even in Medford and the Spring Step, we have Scottish dance classes. So then it's vintage dance exists as well, and waltzes and so.
Well, one of the reasons, quite frankly, there's less footwork.
Okay.
I'm very good at being in the right place at the right time, but learning complicated steps with my feet is a little bit more difficult for me. So it's much easier for me to do English. Actually, I started out in contra, so it's much easier for me to do contra dancing and then English dancing than it would be even something like Scottish folk dancing. Even though the figures are very much the same, you do have some footwork involved. So
when you wrote your first dance?
Yes.
When?
When? Sometime in the early 90s. I don't remember exactly when. It was.
But what's the motivation? Because I know your professional field, it's engineering, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, and all of a sudden, maybe it's easy for engineers. I don't know.
It's surprising. It is surprising, but I use very much the same process writing an English country dance that I use in designing. But what happened was, after having been dancing for a while and learning a lot of the dances, it simply started coming to me that, perhaps doing something creative with some of the music and everything. And there was actually one particular tune that I had heard much, much earlier than that in Ralph Vaughan Williams' English Folk Song Suite. It turns out it's the second theme from the second movement, which is a tune called the Cutty Wren. But I had heard that and it kind of stuck with me. And I like to think of it as if there isn't an English country dance to that tune, there should be. So I ended up writing an English country dance for that tune. I was lucky that Gene Morrow, who was a very, very experienced caller, was willing to call it for me when he came up to where I was at that time, in the Albany area, for the Albany dance
by
group.
the way, when this started here, like the Cambridge place and then Arlington, those groups, when they start, it's going back
many years.
Many years ago. Yeah, but the Harvard Square, it's new group, right? Relatively.
Harvard Square is new. Actually, we are in our 10th year.
Yeah.
It's affiliated with the CDS Boston Center organization. It got started about 10 years ago. There was a group of individuals already in English country dance who were going to Harvard or somehow associated with Harvard University, wanted a dance that was convenient to them.
Right.
So at that point, it was a question of getting it started.
Yeah. Well, we need to tell our viewers that's actually going on 2nd and 4th Friday of the month.
Yes.
It starts at 7:30. Beginners welcome.
Oh, yes.
No specific clothes required except of comfortable shoes.
Yes, that's actually probably the one thing. If you're going to come, always plan to bring a pair of shoes that we will change into when you're there. It's not as important perhaps at the Harvard Square, but if you start dancing regularly at other venues which have very, very good, nice wood floors, having a stone or something embedded in your sole of your shoe, it's going to, really tear up the floor, something, really bad, and it may end up meaning that the group doesn't get invited back to that particular venue if you do things like that.
I see. And then another group we need to tell our viewers that is in Arlington, and it's Wednesday night at 7:30. But this one, the Harvard Square, it's Mass Avenue.
At the Harvard Epworth Methodist Church, just off Harvard Square on Massachusetts Avenue, yes.
And this is the Park Street Church in Arlington.
That's it.
Yeah. So, and then it's plenty other places, right?
Oh, yes.
It's like, you said Brookline, you just danced.
There was a dance in Brookline. It's usually the first Friday of the month. I believe there's a dance in Jamaica Plain and so on. I don't even know all of them myself. And probably if you search, I think there's a folk dancing around Boston.
Yes.
Has a list of all of the folk dances, that are not just the English country dances, but that's probably one of the best places to look for it.
I see. So do you have any of your dances were performed somewhere that it's like a very special place, like NEFA maybe?
Actually, I did have a number of, at least one dance being performed at NEFA.
Well, we need to explain our viewers what's a NEFA.
Oh, New England Folk Festival. It's usually in April, in, I think it's Mansfield.
Yeah, it's new.
Yeah. What was interesting there, I think I remember this is a dance that I wrote called Barbara's Maggot. And there's several very interesting stories about this one. The Barbara involved, her name is Barbara Ruth. She is an English country dancer out of New Haven. She challenged me to write a dance for her. And so I was able to do that. The interesting, the interesting thing about this, well, I should break back. Maggot is a term for an English country dance, a type of English country dance that is rather complicated. Now, it originates from a 17th century metaphor that my head is full of maggots. Okay, meaning lots of wild ideas running around inside. That metaphor is no longer in use in the English language, but it survives in the naming of English country dances. So I gave Barbara her maggot. Now, it also turns out that there is a legend, a Saint Barbara, and a legend about her. She converted to Christianity, was executed by her father for that. Her father was struck by lightning on the way home from the execution. Now, because of that, Saint Barbara became the protectress for thunder and lightning. Okay. And as in medieval times, as the early cannons were being developed, the early medieval cannoneers got into the habit of saying a quick prayer to Saint Barbara before they fired off their